Hey everybody, it's Shannon. AnisaAmrekeeya, Shannon معكم. In this video, we're going to talk about learning Arabic. Okay, في هالفيديو راح نتكلم عن تعلم اللغة العربية. So I think for now on it's better I just speak English to y'all. فمن الحين بتكلم إنجليزية معكم لأن لو تكلمتوا عربي ما راح تشوفوا هالفيديو. طيب, so I got a question on Instagram recently. Hi, hope you don't mind the message. I've just seen one of your videos on YouTube. Great, by the way. Thank you. I'm very new to this, but I'd like to learn to speak Arabic. There's heaps of things on Google. So maybe you're British. Heaps of things. Okay. Which is all very confusing as to what's best. So I wanted to ask for you to perhaps give me your opinion or advice on what's best. I would be a beginner. Even if I could learn the basics, it would be a help, please. Regards, Ash. Thank you for asking. I'm flattered that you asked me. All right, so I did a video about a year ago that was called Get the F Out of Beginner's Arabic, but that's like kind of for people who are beginners, but they want to transition to kind of an intermediate level. I have to like restrain myself from translating because I'm so used to doing my videos in both languages. All right, so I did this video about a year ago, but I mean, if you're a complete beginner, I think it's only right that I do a video on what are some of the things that I would advise people who are just new to learning Arabic, thinking about learning Arabic, and you know how to get the foundation right. Oh, and what qualifies me to do this video? I'm a linguist. Why is the flash on? Oh, my flashlight's on. Okay, that's what's. All right, so I'm an Arabic linguist. I most recently worked with the U.S. Army Special Forces, and I can't talk about all the details of what we did, but I actually I got shot, but yeah, this is my certificate, but I was the only native English speaker there. All the rest of the linguists were native Arabic speakers, so, all right. And yeah, I did Arabic TV series. I hosted an Arabic talk show when I was living in Dubai, and I do like a lot of translation and editing as part of my business. So yeah, Arabic is a huge part of my life. And when I first saw this message, I was like, yeah, well, of course there's gonna be tons of information about how to learn Arabic online. And usually what I tell people is like, you know, ask a native speaker or ask somebody, you know, just Google it, see what there is. And I did that today when I was preparing for this video, and I was like, oh my God, there's a lot of shit out there. Like a lot of these channels, like there was a YouTube channel, it's called like Arabic, it's got like 500,000 subscribers. How the F, I have no idea. Like Arabic Pod 101 or something. What's it called? Yeah, don't use that website. It was all clickbait. Like it would say, oh, you know, top tips for learning Arabic or like top Arabic words. And there was nothing in the video except like buy our classes. And I was like, that's bullshit. You don't want that. All right. So yeah, it was Arabic Pod 101. So that's the one not to use. There's an Arabic podcast I'll talk about in a bit that I loved and really helped me, and it's all free. So here's the first thing. If you want to become a fluent Arabic speaker or a fluent speaker in any language, you need to know the why, first of all. Before you even sign up for the first class, before you buy the books, just know why you're learning it, because I feel like your intention is what drives it. And you don't have to tell me, you don't have to tell anybody, you don't have to tell your teacher what the real why is. You can have like a fake why, like, oh, I want to learn it to, you know, help me in my job. When the real reason is like you want to get laid, there's somebody you really like who you want to impress. I mean, maybe it is something about, you know, who knows? It's your reason, it's your life, it's your business, but have a real reason why. I can tell you mine. And this is something also, like I had a fake why because I was working in a Saudi company, but there was a bigger why in the sense that, I mean, I'm the sixth of 15 kids. So I talked about that in another one of my videos. And when I was 13, my older sister got disowned, and witnessing that, like the feeling that you're, as one of 15 kids, you're disposable, that affected me a lot. And I guess when I moved to Dubai and I got that first job, I really wanted to be like, I wanted to be somebody who was indisposable, I guess you could say. I wanted to be so valuable that they couldn't just, I mean, like my mom disposed of my sister, I felt like. And I know this sounds like kind of very deep, and like, yes, I still go to therapy. But back then, I mean, I was what, 23 when I started learning Arabic. But that was still, I mean, 10 years before, you know, it was still fresh in my mind, at least the way that I felt, and this idea of conditional love. And to be honest, that's a big driver of why, you know, and I was like too, like, you know, I went to Wharton, like if, you know, anybody can do it, it's me. I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to be the best I can, and this and this. And I do feel like that's a big part of what drove my interest in learning Arabic. And I think I talked about this in another video too, is how like HR said no initially. Later on, they actually did refund me for what I paid for my classes, but they were like, no, foreigners learn a few words and they forget everything. Whereas they would pay for Arabs to get English lessons. So it's like, not really fair, but you know, it's the UAE, it's not a free country. So they do what they want. But yeah, I really wanted to prove people wrong. I think it was I had this maybe like a chip on my shoulder, like, I am awesome, I am gonna learn it, I'm gonna be the best, you know, you're gonna be so shocked. And I learned very fast too. I was doing 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I mean, the feeling, at first people did make fun of me a little bit, I got teased, but it just made me want to work harder. So, all right, let's get into some practical things about, you're a beginner, you want to learn how to speak Arabic. I do think you should learn how to read and write as well. I think it'll also make your speaking better. That's just me. But if you just want to learn speaking, okay, take what you want from this video. Another thing, everybody says, oh, Arabic is so hard. You know, like it's one of the hardest languages. I feel like anything is hard. Like, it's bullshit. Everything is hard. You know, me getting up this morning after, you know, a weekend in Boston with a root canal tomorrow, like having to take painkillers, and like, it was hard for me to get up this, I mean, everybody has their hard. You have to choose your hard. It's hard to go to the gym, but it's also hard to like be obese. You know, it's just like, you have, yeah, choose your hard, you know. It's also it's a logical language. And so for me, I kind of got roped into that. I'm not especially good at math, but I was pretty decent at statistics and logic. I was decent. But the thing I love about Arabic is, yeah, it's a very logical language, and it's kind of mathematical, I feel like, in some ways, the way you conjugate the verbs and form things, and everything has a root of those 3 letters, and you'll get into it, but it's a very logical language. So if you're good at math, you'd probably be great at learning Arabic. All right, sorry for the digression, whatever it is. Sorry to digress. Practical things. So when I decided in my mind, I said, I'm going to learn Arabic, I'm going to be good, I'm going to do whatever it takes. The first thing I did was I Googled what options there were for in-person classes in Dubai. I know with COVID it makes things hard, but now things are starting to open up. See if you can get a live, even if it's online, fine. Get a real live class with a teacher, all right? And I chose the one that was at 8 a.m. I'm not a morning person. I went to the 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. class because I had work from 10 to 7. So I'm like, okay, I'd rather just do it, wake up super early and do it before work. But I think going to an in-person class is super important. It's why too, like for classes at the gym, I have to go there, like for bar, I can't do the live stream bar, I have to go there and do it in person. I like the feeling of physically being there. And just, yeah, you have the kind of the energy of the class and the focus and the learning, because I do get distracted easily. So. And for beginners Arabic, the group classes are much cheaper, you'll find, than the advanced. At least that's what I found, because a lot of people drop out when you get to intermediate and advanced Arabic levels. You gotta persist, man. So try to find a group class, and you can probably get a discount if you like pay up front, you know, things like that. Try to negotiate discounts. I mean, I was always looking for a discount because I was also paying out of my own pocket for the first 6 months I was learning Arabic or something like that. But yeah, try to find a group class and ask them what materials you need. Oftentimes, especially for beginners Arabic, they're gonna give you a proprietary guide or manual. That's what we did at Eaton Institute in Dubai. They gave us this thing, which was before starting Al-Kitab method. So there's Al-Kitab 1. The Georgetown University Press has their own method for learning Arabic. Like in music, they have like the Suzuki method or whatever. There's like the Al-Kitab method, which is very popular, and that's what they used at Eaton when I was learning Arabic. All right, but the beginner class, they gave us these materials for free. It was just like some sort of a little printed thing of beginners Arabic. Now I think at Kitab Method, they have a book called Alif Ba, which is for people who are like brand new to the language and the alphabet and all that. Anyway, find the class, find out what they recommend, show up on the first day, you're ready to learn, have your pencil sharpened, and just focus. And my first one, I think it was 30 hours. I think it was 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. It was an intensive, I don't know if it was 2 weeks or 4, I can't even remember. But it was a group class with like 20 people, which is great too, because I'm always a little bit shy in new situations. So You don't have to get all the attention right up front. You can kind of like hide behind, the person next to you, or like when they're, so anyway, yeah, get a group class, because that was a great thing for me. And then I think when it came to level 2, there were maybe 10 or 5, and then there were, in the intermediate, there was me and one other girl, and then after that, it was just me. So, but yeah, group, and it gets more expensive because you're paying just one-on-one lessons. All right. But like I said, yeah, don't buy any books yet. Don't, I'm gonna like have all these Arabic books and CDs and have it all on my shelf. It's like, yeah, do you think you're really gonna crack that open? Be honest with yourself, are you? I mean, for me, if I don't have a teacher with me, I'm probably not gonna crack it open. Or if I'm not waiting, okay, doing my homework for the next day, sure, I'll do my homework because I don't wanna embarrass myself in front of the teacher. All right? Next, when you are ready, then there's this podcast that I used to listen to. It's free. It's called arabicpod.net. I'll put a picture of it here. 2 guys, I think they're in the UK, and they're great. I think those are great. Just like when I was getting ready in the morning, I listened to arabicpod.net. Also, there was something called a thamina. When you learn how to type Arabic, make sure you add the Arabic keyboard to your phone. It's very easy. Type in, دروس عربية بسيطة or something like that, and see what you can find. But yeah, there's a lot of clickbait bullshit on YouTube, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Another thing I would do is listen to audio from your textbook. I mean, back when I was learning, we had CDs. Now I think you can download MP3s. But like, yeah, when you're just like driving or doing whatever, things that you don't really have to concentrate, then just have some I had beginners audio stuff just playing, because if it's really advanced, it just goes all over your head. I mean, when I started learning Hijazi dialect, the Saudi dialect of the Western region, my teacher had us watch Eish Illi on YouTube, the one with Badr Saleh. And don't tell him this. I've actually met him in person. He's a really nice guy. He's a Saudi comedian. And don't tell him this, but I would download the audio from the Eish Illi episodes on YouTube and like listen to them in my car and stuff, just to practice hearing the dialect. And then I would come into class, be like, what, like, fast forward this part. What did he say right there? What does that mean? And it's really amazing when you can start to understand comedy in Arabic. It's just so, I mean, I love to laugh. I love comedy. So if you can watch like U-Turn, like Arabic comedy stuff, that's awesome. But that's, like I said, it's kind of for more, like when you get a little bit more advanced. I would say after you finish the Al-Kitab method. Another thing is when you're ready, change your phone settings to Arabic when you're ready, and tweet in Arabic. Another thing I would say for beginners is really try to not take yourself too seriously. And I think it can be harder for men than for women. I don't know why, I've just noticed that. I mean, have a high, pain tolerance for making mistakes and getting embarrassed. I mean, I've done it so many times I can't even count. I think I used to try to record my Arabic lessons because I would make such a dumb mistakes. I thought it would be funny. I could put on YouTube later. I don't even know if I still have the videos of it. But I remember I would try to say, there's a word that means I'm frustrated, which is mahbata. And so I tried to say I'm frustrated. But instead I said ana manhata, which means like I'm like degenerate, like trashy, like, so I mean, I've said, I guess I can't even remember, but I've embarrassed myself so many times. And I think that's what makes it fun, and also teaches you don't make that same mistake again. And it's something you can kind of look back on and be like, Also try to like type stuff in Arabic. I think that's also a really good practice if you want, and I do think you should learn how to read and write as well. What else? I think those are the main things I would say if you're a beginner. I have gotten some inquiries about teaching Arabic, and at first, and for a long time, I was just like, find a native Arabic speaker to teach you. I mean, who am I to teach you Arabic? My native language is English. I give English lessons. Like, I'm always advertising to my followers, like, hey, English lessons or English editing, like, email me, here, message us on our website. But after going on YouTube and seeing some of these channels of people who are like, I'll teach you Arabic, and they're not native speakers, but they're also not great speakers, I'm just like, oh, well, if they can do it, I can, I think I just had really low self-esteem for a while. I was like, but now I see that and I'm like, oh, and not to be like rude or whatever, I think it's great that they learned the language. It's just kind of cringy sometimes to watch. I'm like, I should be teaching that, because I feel bad for people who are learning from them. Anyway, maybe this is the start of a whole bunch of videos on learning Arabic, we'll see. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped at least a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions, comments down below. I'll put links to some other videos. Like there's a video I did where I talk about my strategy for studying. I'll put that here as well. Like I said, yeah, contact me if you have any questions. Love you guys. أحبكم. Good luck. بالتوفيق. يلا. مع السلامة. Bye guys.